They'll never warn you before they betray you. There won't be a memo, a text message, or a quiet heads up. Instead, they'll smile. They'll shake your hand, pat you on the back, and wait. They'll wait for that one moment where you let your guard down, where you look just a little too tired, a little too stressed, a little too vulnerable. And in that moment, they will strike. In this world we live in, the perception of you is far deadlier than the reality of you. This is the first rule you have to understand, and it's the one most people ignore until it's too late. You don't actually have to be broken for the world to try and destroy you. You just have to look breakable. Think about it. The great strategist Machiavelli didn't survive the cutthroat politics of his time by simply being the strongest man in the room. He survived and thrived by appearing absolutely untouchable. If you're serious about gaining control over your life, your career, and your destiny, you have to learn this core principle: never, ever bleed in front of the wolves. Even if you feel like you're dying inside, your exterior must project something else entirely. It must project a quiet readiness to kill. People don't attack you because you're weak. That's a misunderstanding. They attack you because they perceive you as weak. The appearance of softness is an invitation for attack. So, if you truly want to become untouchable, the very first step is to methodically hunt down and kill the illusion of your own vulnerability. You have to become a master of your own image. The world, as harsh as it sounds, doesn't really care about how much you're hurting. It only cares about how you present yourself. You could be bleeding out internally, facing a crisis that's tearing you apart. But the moment that pain becomes visible to others, it transforms. It's no longer just your pain. It becomes their opportunity. It becomes leverage they can use against you. Machiavelli wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." This wasn't just a clever observation from 500 years ago. It's a fundamental law of human interaction. Perception is everything. Your job is to master the image of unshakable strength, especially when you feel broken inside. So, what does this look like in practice? First, you stop showing public struggle. This means no more vague, sad posts on social media fishing for sympathy. No more complaining about your problems to colleagues or casual acquaintances who don't need to know the details of your life. You must learn to suffer in silence, not as a form of self-punishment, but as a form of strategic defense. Because every single time you broadcast your weakness, you have to assume someone is watching, someone is listening, and someone is calculating how they can use it to their advantage. Next, you have to change the way you communicate. Learn to speak less and observe more. Think of your words as currency. Every time you speak, you're spending a little bit of your power. The more you talk, the more you reveal about your plans, your insecurities, your desires. You are literally handing weapons to your potential enemies, giving them a roadmap to your mind. But when you're silent, when no one is quite sure what you're thinking, they start to get nervous. They can't read you. And because they can't read you, they start to fear what you might do. This unpredictability is a massive source of power. Silence isn't empty. It's a strategy. Machiavelli believed that the people who survive and rise to the top aren't always the strongest or the smartest, but the ones who are impossible to read. This leads directly to the next law. You must strip raw emotion from your decision-making. People who are governed by their feelings are incredibly easy to trap and manipulate. They make impulsive decisions when they're angry. They beg for forgiveness when they feel guilty. They make foolish promises when they're excited. They are a chaotic whirlwind of action and regret. That cannot be you. Your goal is to fundamentally shift your internal question from, "How do I feel about this?" to "What does this achieve?" Being a good person, being kind and forgiving, will not protect you from the ambitions of others. Being strategic will. You must also let go of the deep-seated human need to be liked. This is a trap that keeps so many people weak. If your primary focus is on gaining approval, you are handing over the controls of your life to everyone else. You become a puppet, and their opinions are the strings. Machiavelli famously said, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." Now, in our modern world, fear doesn't have to mean terror. Think of it as a deep, unshakable respect. You want people to respect your presence, not crave your attention. When people fear disappointing you, fear the consequences of not meeting your standards, fear being cut out of your plans, they stay in line. They perform. But when they love you, or rather, when they feel overly familiar and comfortable with you, they start to see you as a resource. They start to use you. And finally, for this first stage of your transformation, you must learn to cut off anyone who wants too much access to you. Access is control. The more people can reach you at any time, the more they can study your patterns, your moods, and your weaknesses. You need to start treating access to your time and your mind like a fortress controls its gates. Be polite, be friendly on the surface, but maintain a strategic distance. Be present, but also be slightly elusive. Let them see your shadow more than they see your face. The people we consider untouchable are never overexposed. They aren't the ones posting every thought and every meal. They maintain an air of mystery. They become legends in their own circles precisely because no one knows the whole story. The illusion of vulnerability is an open invitation for others to test you, to push you, and ultimately, to try and destroy you. If they believe you can be hurt, they will try. But if you destroy that illusion, if you become a mirror they can't read, a storm they can't predict, they will think twice. And in the game of power, making your opponent think twice is often all you need to win. Power isn't about truth. It's about the perception of truth. And since most people are too lazy, too distracted, or too self-absorbed to look beneath the surface is the only battlefield that matters. This is where you take control. If you want to become truly untouchable, you must stop living reactively and start crafting your identity like a weapon. Every part of you that the world sees must be by design. You must become the deliberate architect of your own persona. Be seen only how you want to be seen. Think about it. If you want to be respected in a professional environment, you project an aura of calm competence. Your emails are concise. Your contributions in meetings are insightful and brief. Your demeanor is cool and efficient. You're not there to make friends. You're there to produce results. If you want to be feared by a rival, you let your silence become a threat. You observe them without emotion. You let them babble and reveal their strategy while you reveal nothing. Your presence alone becomes a source of anxiety for them. Every movement, every word, every facial expression must serve a purpose. You must excise the unnecessary from your public self. Your power doesn't come from being an open book. It comes from being a book written in a language that no one else can read. Once people think they've figured you out, they immediately start to map your weaknesses. They test your limits. They begin to experiment with how they can manipulate you. Never, ever let them see the full picture. Always hold something back. Let them guess, let them doubt, let them whisper in corners about what you might do next. Fear and respect both grow best in silence and shadows. Machiavelli warned that human beings are far more easily manipulated by appearances than by facts. Use this. Use it not to harm the innocent, but to build a fortress around yourself that the ambitious and the predatory cannot breach. If you are struggling, you must appear calm. If you are uncertain, you must act with decisiveness. If you are plotting your revenge, you must smile at your enemy like they are your dearest friend. You must master the art of strategic deception, not because you are a malicious person, but because you refuse to be a victim. In a world where your status is defined by perception, your internal reality becomes almost irrelevant to your survival. You can be the strongest person in the world, but if your image is weak, you'll be treated like a joke. And you can be hollowed out by doubt, but be feared like a god if your public image is ruthless and unwavering. Untouchable people do not waste time begging to be seen for who they really are. They are not interested in that. They craft the version of themselves that simply cannot be challenged. They design their persona like a shield, one that reflects intimidation, not desperation. Your posture, your words, your very presence, it all must become intentional. There is no longer any room for accidental signals. From this moment forward, understand that everything you do sends a message. So choose every signal with absolute purpose. Now let's talk about a word that has been used to control good people for centuries: loyalty. Loyalty is a beautiful concept, a noble idea, until you realize it's most often used as a leash. Machiavelli knew that loyalty is rarely pure. For almost everyone, it's transactional. People are loyal to their own interests, not to you. The very second that your value to them drops, or a better opportunity arises, their so-called loyalty will vanish like smoke. If you want to be untouchable, you must erase the comforting illusion that loyalty will protect you. It won't. Power protects you. Stop trying to build flimsy emotional bonds and start building concrete leverage. Leverage is what keeps people in line. If someone respects you only because they like you, they will betray you the moment their feelings change. But if they respect you because they need you, or because they genuinely fear the consequences of crossing you, they will remain loyal, even if they secretly hate your guts. That is the cold, hard truth of human dynamics that no one wants to admit. Power, not affection, is what dictates behavior. Don't be fooled by kind words, shared history, or long friendships. Many of the people smiling in your face are simply waiting. They are biding their time, looking for the right opportunity to benefit from your potential downfall. Your job is to stay 10 steps ahead. You do this by controlling what they need. Make yourself indispensable, or make yourself dangerous. You must be the one holding the rope, not the one dangling from it, trusting that others won't let go. Machiavelli didn't trust loyalty. He trusted power dynamics. Keep people close, but always maintain the upper hand. Give them just enough to make them dependent on you, but never enough to make yourself dependent on them. If someone does you a favor, you repay it swiftly, but you repay it from a position of strength, not weakness. Never grovel. Never appear overly indebted. Always maintain the psychological freedom and the practical ability to walk away from any person or situation. The person who is able to leave is the one in control. Emotional attachment is the enemy of strategy. You can care for people, you can even love them, but you can never let that love blind you to their nature. Be ruthlessly observant. The most dangerous people in your life are rarely your declared enemies. Your enemies are predictable. The real threat comes from those who pretend to be your allies, waiting for your guard to finally drop. The untouchable build alliances, not friendships. They understand that an alliance is a partnership based on mutual interest, and it lasts only as long as that interest holds. They know even the closest bond can be shattered by ambition, jealousy, or fear, so they are always prepared. They don't make promises they aren't willing to break. They don't believe in forever. They believe in timing, control, and options. And that stark, clear-eyed mindset is what keeps them undefeated. So let other people swear their allegiance. Let them tell you they'll never turn on you. You smile, you nod, and you continue to prepare for the day they do. Because when that day comes, and it often does, you won't be the one begging or crying. You will have already cultivated their replacement. You will have already secured the upper hand. And that right there is what makes you untouchable. It's not about who is loyal to you. It's about how well you've secured your own position for when they're not. Hesitation is a luxury the powerful cannot afford. The moment you are challenged, the clock starts ticking. Your enemy is watching, waiting for you to react. And the greatest weapon they have against you is your own emotion. They want you to get angry. They want you to feel the sting of betrayal, to lash out, to raise your voice. Because once you start feeling, you stop thinking. And an emotional opponent is a predictable opponent. Machiavelli understood this centuries before modern psychology gave it a name. He didn't romanticize revenge. He strategized it. He didn't act out of rage. He acted out of cold, calculated necessity. This is the barrier that separates the powerful from the temporarily powerful. This is how the untouchable rise and remain at the top. They only strike when the strike guarantees not just a win, but absolute control. If you let anger be your fuel, you will miss your target. You will overreact. You will expose your own vulnerabilities in the process. But if you detach, if you become surgically precise, every move you make becomes another step toward total dominance. The untouchable are not heartless. They are ruthlessly focused. You must learn to override your emotions, not to suppress them until you break, but to command them like tools. Let the fire of anger fuel your late-night preparation, not your public outbursts. Let the pain of betrayal inspire a period of intense, silent strategy, not tears and threats. Your enemy must never, ever know how much they affected you. If they believe they shook you, they've already won a psychological victory. But if they hit you with their best shot and you don't even flinch, if you simply look back at them with a calm, analytical gaze, they begin to doubt their own power. And that seed of doubt is the soil where your victory will grow. You must become the type of person who can smile at someone who is actively trying to destroy you, all the while planning, in meticulous detail, how to dismantle their entire world behind closed doors. This isn't about enjoying cruelty. It's about recognizing that mercy is utterly wasted on those who have already decided to be your enemy. When you do strike, you must strike in a way that leaves zero opportunity for retaliation. Half measures, warnings, and small symbolic victories are an open invitation for future wars. When it is time to move, you don't ask for permission. You don't send a warning shot. You end the threat. You burn the bridge. You remove the piece from the board, permanently. Your enemies must come to fear what you are capable of doing, not hope for your forgiveness. This doesn't mean public violence or screaming matches. It means playing on a higher, more devastating level. It means psychological dominance, economic destruction, social isolation, the complete ruin of their reputation. You must silence their voice. You must break their influence. You must make it impossible for them to ever stand against you again without crawling. This isn't cruelty. It's survival in a world where weakness is an invitation to slaughter. If someone tries to sabotage your career, you don't just counter it. You methodically destroy the very foundation of their own. If they spread a lie about you, you don't just deny it. You make the full, unvarnished truth so loud and so ugly for them that they regret ever speaking your name. This isn't about petty revenge. This is about finality. Emotional people swing back and forth, unsure if they're doing the right thing, paralyzed by guilt. The untouchable do not flinch. They know that if an enemy is not completely neutralized, they will eventually return, often stronger and smarter. So they remove that option from the table. Machiavelli wrote that a ruler must know how to be both beast and man. The man is the strategist, the cold mind that calculates when and where to strike. The beast is the will, the part that strikes without fear and without hesitation. Together, they create the perfect weapon, a mind that plans in a presence that dominates. That is who you must become. And now, for the final principle, the one that secures all the others. To become truly, permanently untouchable, you must learn to disappear in plain sight. Ultimate power is safest when it is invisible. The most dangerous person in any room is never the one speaking the loudest, wearing the flashiest suit, or standing in the spotlight. It's the one in the corner, observing quietly, controlling the entire room without ever saying a word. Machiavelli knew that as soon as people identify you as the one in control, they start planning how to take that control from you. But if you rule from the shadows, they won't even know who to attack. Visibility is a trap. Attention invites envy. Envy invites sabotage. But influence without exposure, that is invincibility. Your strength should never be on full display. It should be suspected, whispered about, but never fully confirmed. The untouchable understand that the more people are looking at you, the more they are preparing for your downfall. But when you are hidden, you cannot be targeted. You become the wind, not the storm. The hand behind the throne, not the face on the banner. The key to ultimate, lasting power is to achieve control without needing the credit. Let others wear the crown while you own the kingdom. Let them fight over job titles and public applause while you quietly direct the outcomes. This is how you remain undefeated, by being everywhere and nowhere at the same time. You learn to influence people without owning them. You guide situations without getting your hands dirty. You win battles without your presence ever being formally announced. Let others feel like they are in control. Feed their ego. Let them believe they are leading the charge, all while you are the one who laid the path they're walking on. The more they believe in their own independence, the more loyally they serve your interests, often without ever knowing it. This isn't just manipulation, it's mastery. So stop trying to prove your worth. Stop broadcasting your every win. The most powerful moves are the ones nobody sees coming. Your enemy cannot block a punch they don't know is being thrown. When you are invisible, you are unpredictable. And when you are unpredictable, you are unstoppable. Let your name be forgotten. Let your face be unknown. But let your impact be undeniable. Be the strategist who never shows all his cards. Be the master who never reveals his full arsenal. Appear weak when you are at your strongest. Appear disinterested when you are most invested. Be underestimated until the very last second. That is how you dominate. Machiavelli wrote that it is better to be feared than loved, but the true master understands the final evolution of this idea. It is best to be neither feared nor loved, but to be unseen and still control both. If this message gave you a wake-up call, don't just scroll past. This isn't just content. It's a new way of thinking. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you turn on notifications so you never miss a lesson that could change everything. We're building a community of strategists here, and every week we drop the raw, unfiltered truths that will sharpen your mind and build your armor for a world that wants to break you. If you are serious about rising above the noise, this is where it starts. Stay ahead. Stay dangerous. Stay untouchable. Hit that button, because the next move is always yours.